Lentz neighbors, it's a community in Portland. They are worrying about their dropping property values due to crime and homeless camps. They are now worrying. Now the story is, oh, good Lord. All those tents, all those whacked out addicts on drugs, they're not good for property values. All of a sudden, it's just this awakening happening, right? Maybe we're not going to be able to sell our homes. Maybe that strategy of just letting people live willy-nilly and take whatever drugs they want, maybe that's backfiring. Good Lord. What do we have going on in Lentz neighborhood of Portland? Let's get into it. Here we go. Lentz neighborhood, I mean, it's always been a little bit South Park-ish, right? A little bit rough. You can say that. There are neighborhoods that are tough, that have, the affordable nature of housing. And unfortunately, Lentz neighborhood has been rife with homelessness, drug addiction, criminal activity that kind of goes hand in hand with the tents, because these aren't people just down on their luck. These are people choosing to live a lifestyle of drugs and crime. And then when you mix that with a community, I don't know if you know this, but people tend to not buy real estate in areas that are overrun with criminal activity and drugs. Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, and I can say that with absolute 100%, assurances, because I'm a real estate guy. And when you got to go into a neighborhood, you're like, oh, good Lord, I don't even know if I want to take this listing. Man, see those tents? Oh, yeah, hold an open house here. I don't think so, guys. No, I don't think so. Hey, good luck with that listing. Yeah, good luck. I mean, I say that with all conviction. Good luck, right? People came together in the Lentz neighborhood Thursday night to address concerns from residents who say their properties are dropping in value. The fact that it is August, this was published on August 10th of 2023, that this is a news story. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like the ultimate, what did you think would happen when you allow people to do drugs and live willy-nilly wherever throughout your community? Remember when everybody in Portland at one point was like, don't move the homeless around. They're just unhoused people down on their luck. A few years later, after just letting the situation get wildly out of control, little different angle, right? Little different opinion. It used to be you'd have a bunch of community activists show up at a homeless encampment sweep. Now, when it affects people's pocketbook, hey, I can't sell my house. I'm hosed. I'm stuck. What am I going to do? Those are the stories you're hearing, because now people are like, okay, maybe that policy I supported, I don't know. I don't want to say it out loud, but it's not working out all that well because I can't sell my house, and my house is down like $200,000 in value. I'm throwing out numbers here. Portland is still very expensive real estate, right? It's Pacific Northwest. Everything's expensive here because too many people live here, right? I mean, this isn't Ohio. So community members are blaming the drop on what they call ongoing problems with those experiencing homelessness in the area and increasing crime. See, even here, there are people that are experiencing homelessness. They're not living, out of their own volition in a tent doing drugs. I mean, they just got homeless somehow, and things are going sideways for them. So we need to support them. Now, community members are recognizing, oh, this is what we got going on. This isn't working out. What are we going to do? That's where they're at, because people aren't buying homes unless they're massively discounted in areas where this is going on. And massively discounted, what does that look like? Well, I mean, it looks like a huge drop in value, right? I'm disgusted. I'm disappointed. I'm let down, Todd Littlefield, who is a homeowner in the neighborhood, said. Littlefield recalled a time when he called Portland beautiful. But after living in the Lentz neighborhood for the last 5 years, he explained that time has since passed. Over the years, he said his home has lost value due to increasing crime and homelessness in the area. Did you not think that was going to happen? Because I hear all of these residents that are now up in arms. And I think for the rest of us, we've been going, what took you so long to figure this out? What was your first clue? You let a bunch of drug addicts just live wherever. And this is what happens. They still got to steal from the community to get their next buck, to buy their next fentanyl pill, to smoke with the pipe that you handed out to them as a taxpayer citizen as part of harm reduction, right? I mean, this is how that goes. So community members, you can get upset, but you voted in the policy, you voted in the politics, you voted in, the whole shebang that ended up with this, because there's a lot of other communities that didn't allow this to happen. And guess what? Their property values are not dropping. Weird. Yeah, you can't allow this stuff to go on. And unfortunately, Lentz, you guys are hosed. You guys are hosed because the cat is out of the bag. You can sweep all day long, but they're going to come back, because why wouldn't they? You don't have enough personnel. You don't have the budget. You don't have the manpower to do Mayor Ted's, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can't have a tent here. It's in proximity to this and this and this. Not going to work. You can have that as an ordinance, but it's not going to do anything, because these people are living illegally anyway. They're just posted up willy-nilly wherever they want. They're just going to live wherever they want until somebody tells them to go away. They're going to keep doing their drugs. They're going to keep pooping on your sidewalk. They're going to keep urinating. They're going to keep the whole crime element going on. Because what's interesting is this article says the increase in crime. There was a time where I would read stories and they wouldn't even associate homelessness with criminal activity, because it was such they're not criminals. They're just unhoused that are down on their luck. Wink, 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 wink. But now you're getting the residents who are like, yeah, I can't sell my house, and it's because got a bunch of tents around, and those people in the tents are doing crazy criminal activities. And nobody wants to live by that. So therefore I'm pissed. And you're like, all right, you got nobody to be upset with except yourself. It's the way I see it. Littlefield recalled the time when he called Portland beautiful. Yeah. My neighbors have tried to sell, he explained, but no one is interested in buying this. What? They don't want a house on a street loaded with tents? You get yelled at for no reason? I mean, that is, in my 30-something years of real estate. Yeah. This is a blinding glimpse of the obvious, right? I mean, that's what this is. It's a BGO. It's so simple. People don't want to live next to that. They don't want that on their streets. They don't want that as an external factor that they can't do anything about. Because you can only call the city so many times and say, hey, the guy in the tent on my street is pooping on the sidewalk again. Can you send somebody out and clean this up? So my neighbors have tried to sell. No one's interested in buying this. I wouldn't spend another penny developing this property. It's probably a good call there. So you need to drop that price, because everything will sell. It's a matter of at what price. So you need to get that bad boy down. I mean, if you got neighbors that it's not selling, drop that price. Drop that price 10 grand every 3 days until it sells. There you go. Words of wisdom from a real estate guy. It will sell. It will sell. Somebody will pick it up. Somebody will get a great deal, because it's going to sell for pennies on the dollar because of that external influence, right? A meeting was held Thursday night in the Lentz neighborhood, which highlighted that issue. Neighbors voiced their opinions to politicians and a lawyer in hopes to learn what they call a problem may be addressed. So what are they going to do? They're going to sweep it out of the Lentz neighborhood permanently? How are you going to do that? You're going to have your own police force surrounding the perimeter? What are you going to do? You're hosed. You're hosed. You just got to deal with it. You got to drop that price. Littlefield, many others at the meeting, said that they feel the city has given up on them and believe current leadership may be contributing to the problem. Maybe? You mean when Mayor Ted was out there with Antifa and Black Lives Matter tearing apart downtown core of Portland? That might be contributing to the problem, the whole defund the police thing being a problem, criminal activity skyrocketing, decriminalizing drug possession, drug use. You think that might be a little bit of the problem when you got all these drug addicts out in their tents doing who knows what? Contributing to the problem. You Yeah, something needs to be done, Littlefield said. Mayor Ted Wheeler's office said they have paid special attention to the Lentz neighborhood because it's in their face. So much craziness is going on that even I know about the Lentz neighborhood. And I'm in Seattle. I'm in Bellevue, right? And this is over the last 6 months by clearing away tents. However, Littlefield said that while it's true, they do just come right back. Really? Huh. I had no idea. I've never podcasted on Whack-A-Mole. Would this be acceptable in your backyard or your front door? He said as he gestured towards camps. No, it would not. And that's why I support politicians who don't allow that kind of silliness to enter into the community. Have the police get them the help that they need or move them along. Period. But you don't let it happen. This is what we were talking about is you are talking about trying to come up with solutions for a massive problem that is already in your lap. And guess what? There aren't any because you are not willing to involuntarily put people into mental institutions or treatment. Therefore, you're stuck with it till you start to address some of that. Good luck with it. Would this be acceptable in your backyard or front door? I like a certain amount of poop in front of my house. No, of course not. No, but the difference is people with different political beliefs have said, no, we're not going to tolerate that. We're not going to have this progressive attitude towards loving our fellow human being and letting them kill themselves in their tent by ODing. There's different ways of thinking, right? So now you're in the Lentz neighborhood, you're dealing with your progressive ideals, with your progressive values. And how is that working out? Now you might say, hey, Sean, I'm not progressive. I'm not progressive and I've been a Republican my whole life and I've lived in Portland my whole life. And I'm like, really? Really? Because, why would you do that? No, by just being in Portland, by being in Seattle, just doing that whole thing, taxpayers dollars to whatever, you are voting for and you are condoning the kind of behavior we're talking about here. So you can't be up in arms that your property values are coming down. This is just cause. Yeah, your actions, and here's what happens. Here's the result of your actions. And so now you need to be held accountable. And unfortunately, that accountability is going to come in the form of you're going to have to drop your price rock bottom to get your bad boy of a house sold because nobody wants it. Because even though your house might be the greatest house in the block, dealing with the conditions right on the sidewalk or right on the public street, people don't want that. If they've got a similar home, it's the principle of substitution. If they can substitute it with something else at a price, a little bit better, and they're getting a way better home that's in a neighborhood that's taken care of, they're going to buy that home. And your home is just going to sit on the market and you're going to have to drop that price to compete with all the other homes that have similar external obsolescence, period. Over the years, Littlefield has been living in the area. He has said he has seen more of those who are experiencing homelessness set up camps along a multi-use path. He claimed that it had gone beyond being an eyesore. As he said, he has had guns pointed at him and he's been assaulted. Generally, he said, things have really blown up. And actually, blown up. We've had bombs after bombs in the middle of the night. Bombs, he paused, that just rattle your house. Huh. Really? You don't say. What'd you expect? Are those really bombs? Or are they meth labs blowing up? Or are they like the homeless encampment here in Seattle, wedged in between I-5 and Harborview Medical Center, where somebody literally tried to bomb a tent, a fentanyl tent they were smoking fentanyl in. A drug dealer tried to bomb them, literally detonate bombs. They just rattle your house. Well, that is what bombs do. He said that he'd like to leave the neighborhood, but with where the market is at, he feels stuck until the right buyer comes along. Until then, he said that it feels like walking on eggshells. So what you are seeing is you're seeing a down real estate market. You are seeing a down residential real estate market. It's been slow. Interest rates are up over 7%. 7% versus 2.75%, massive difference to your payment. Massive difference. So a lot of people are like, okay, I'm just going to hunker down because if I sell my house now, I got to go out and buy, and I got to go buy with a 7 or 7.25% interest rate. Man, those payments are big. I'm just going to wait until rates come back down. And they will. They will. It might be a while. So all these people are playing this waiting game because people do move. There is activity out there. People that are needing to move are making it happen, and they'll refinance down the road. We will go through a massive refinance boom after we've got, rates do their thing. It'll just, how many of those have I seen in my career? Dozen? Just a bunch. And we all mark them by, that was a 6-month refinance boom of whenever, and it's when rates do that thing. But right now, rates are up and people are not selling. So if you've got a home in a neighborhood like Lentz, homes aren't selling in great neighborhoods, let alone ones where you walk down the street and go, yeah, I don't think I'm going to preview your home because that whole homeless encampment thing, yeah, I got a little daughter and no go. We're not taking a look at that. That is too dangerous for us. We don't want that influence. I don't want to have to walk out my front porch and deal with it. I don't want people breaking into my home. I don't want crazy people breaking into my home. Fair enough. So they're going elsewhere, right? I can't sell my home. I don't have freedom to walk in my neighborhood down my street without getting yelled at for no reason. He said, it's insane. Well, this same type of individual, I'm not saying this guy, I'm saying this same type of individual just a few years ago was basically saying, don't sweep the homeless encampments. They're just down on their luck. And now that the reality is set in that what you got is a different situation, now it's being described as it's insane and it's a news story. Huh. Weird how that happens, right? Littlefield said that he was told that police had once planned on patrolling the area to make sure no tents were not set up, but that plan never materialized. What happened? I don't know. He also mentioned that those issues aren't specific to where he lives, but many areas of the neighborhood. You mean you've got whacked out drug addicts pulling guns on people and assaulting people throughout your community? Yeah, you do. You do. So anywhere where that's a thing, tough to sell those homes. Tough to sell those homes. It is a temporary condition, because those homeless encampments can be swept out. So it's not a form of permanent external obsolescence, but you got to wait for that right buyer to come along that's going to say, all right, I'm going to discount this bad boy 65%. You sell it to me for XYZ and I'm going to take it. And they're going to have to deal with all the nonsense. That's that big discount, right? You get that big discount in there in order to incentivize somebody to take on all the craziness. And there's so few people that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. They don't want to take on the additional, just craziness that living by a homeless encampment entails. They don't want to do it. And that's why these homes are nearly illiquid. Like you can't sell them at a price. So people aren't willing to drop their price yet. But down the road, another couple of years of this, you're going to see some in the trade, what we call comps. And those comps are not going to be tippy top high. They're not going to be top of the market. They're going to be, good Lord, you sold for that. Yep. Had to get out. This is what it's going to take. So that's what it's going to take in a neighborhood like this, overrun with homeless encampment, because nobody wants to live there. And reasonable people know this, because reasonable people don't live in communities that let this happen. So this is a community problem. And it didn't just magically jump up out of nowhere. It didn't just happen. A lot of things had to go before, we have a tanking real estate market. A lot of things happened. Now you're dealing with it. Maybe you need to think through that progressive policy there a little bit and go, yeah, maybe in this case, this isn't really progress. Well, it's progress, just in the wrong direction, right? Yeah, bad progress. Continually going down, just like your property values will. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I will catch up with you on the next one. Bye for now.